recording going. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Alicia Nodeman, your friend, your social media buddy. And this is my sweet, beautiful friend, Natasha, who I had the pleasure of meeting in Mexico last year. So, Natasha, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for being willing to do this video and for just inspiring in others a way to pivot mindset in a world that feels so uncertain today. So, Brookie, thank you for the inspiration behind this video. So this video is going to be dedicated to dry shampoo, which I needed right before this video to fluff up the hair, and it smells fabulous. So I'm so stoked to be here. As everybody that knows me knows, I am a brand affiliate with Ferdinand Field Skin and Hair Care. It is the reason that I am here with you today and always jumping online and trying to share different tricks and wisdoms and just inspiration that I come across along my journey of life, as well as products that I love to share. So I'm here with my sweet Natasha to share something very powerful with you today. So just a moment of background to loop you into why we're here, since Tasha already knows. So in a world that is constantly pulling us in different directions, it is so easy to get stuck in negativity. But the right mindset shift can help us find clarity, resilience, and peace. So even in our toughest moments, there is still something we can do. And that something is often shifting our perspective and controlling the controllables. So how do we do that? Tasha is going to help me demonstrate this for you today using a technique that I've been using in my practice world in psychology for years. And so we're going to demonstrate this simple exercise to help you pivot your mindset, one that invites more positivity, grace, and growth into your life. So I call this practice the adapted Serenity Prayer Exercise. It is a follow-up, kind of an evolution or an addition, if you may, to the original Serenity Prayer that millions and millions have known about and found inspiration and comfort in by Reinhold Niebuhr. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This exercise builds upon themes of the original prayer and guides us to embrace acceptance, courage, and wisdom. So I offer these videos as a way of giving back for the generosity that I have received in those that support me in my business world, especially my Rodian Field Skin and Hair Care business. So for me, skincare and hair care, they are not about superficiality or cosmetics. They're about self-care, confidence, and showing up as our best version from the inside and the out. Everything in my world is about nurturing confidence from the inside and the out. You move through the world differently when you feel good in your skin. So I just want to put an extra shout out as a thank you to those who have supported me in my business for 9+ years. And so we want to work on showing up with more boldness, more joy, and more presence. So Natasha actually became my customer when I met her and her beautiful mama in Mexico. Now, we were trying to figure this out the other day, 8 months ago-ish,
8 months
something like
ago.
that. It's crazy how life has
Much
changed
longer.
months. I know it's been life changing. So I'm just grateful because I know there's going to be decades to come. And much more importantly than the fact that you became a customer, you became a friend. You became somebody that I look forward to talking to every day and doing life with and evolving with. And I just love the different threads that we've used to integrate ourselves. And so it is amazing how connections can start in the most unexpected ways. We are living proof of that, and they turn into something so meaningful. I can't imagine my life without you. And so I'm so glad I get to share you with my world. So if you believe in what I share, whoever is watching, if you believe in what I share and you want to be a part of something bigger, supporting my business is a really powerful way to do that. When you invest in your own self-care simply by trusting me with your skin and your hair products through my Rodian Unfolds world, I just want you to know it's not just about getting skin products or hair care products that transform your skin and hair. You are actually helping me to continue to create and give back in the ways that make my heart soar. There is nothing I love more than experiencing just moments throughout the world in different communities and creating different connections along my travels. So that said, because I love pouring into those who support me, I would also love to hear what topics you would like to hear from in the future. So if you have any ideas, please place an order, shoot me a message with your order information, and let me know what video you would like me to do next. I'm going to really work over the next few years at building up a little bit more of the YouTube channel or just doing a little bit more videos on social media. Because it's just been really neat to hear about the impact that has had. So I'll really reserve YouTube for those that I think will hold the test of time. But I love getting your requests. So let's keep growing and thriving and showing up for each other and ourselves. And so with that, let's dive in. So first of all, let's go over the authentic serenity prayer exercise. And then I'm going to share screens and I'm going to show you what the exercises that Natasha and I are going to demonstrate for you today. Now, typically we would be doing this real time. I would actually be walking somebody through doing this kind of one by one for time efficiency and to keep this really smooth and helpful for those watching. Natasha and I prepared things in advance. And so that said, just know when you sit down to do this for yourself, it may not feel so smooth. It's going to be a little choppy, and you'll understand what I mean in a moment. So the authentic serenity prayer exercise as it's originally written, and again, I did not write it. I do not have that genius and brilliance in me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And at the end of the video, I'm going to share an extended version of the authentic serenity prayer. But for the purposes of what we're going to be doing today, we're just going to focus on that first section. So I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to share screens. So bear with me for just a moment. All right. So Natasha, do you see the Serenity Prayer exercise in the adapted form now on the screen?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. So for those watching, you may have heard me say God, right? The original prayer has God. Now, for those that may not be believers or prefer a more secular version of the prayer, especially as we go into the practice, feel free to replace the word God with what feels connecting to you. So it could be, and at the bottom of the slide, you see some examples. The universe, higher power, divine, inner strength, inner wisdom, source, spirit, my higher self. And you could come up with other examples. If you're not familiar with ChatGPT or any of the online AI programs, hop over to one of those and have it help you come up with one. Even after you come up with writing your whole Serenity Prayer exercise, you can plop it over to ChatGPT and ask it to give you additional ideas and to follow the flow of what you started. It is really incredible. So that said, the way this exercise works is I basically take the serenity prayer and I break it down into 3 sections. So, God grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, period. Notice in the original prayer, it doesn't stop there. It just keeps flowing. In our case, here for this practice, we're going to stop the sentence. We're going to make a new sentence. I cannot, dot, dot, dot. Then line 2, then we start a new sentence. Then you can replace God with whatever you want. Natasha and I both connect to God. And so we're going to use that as our example. God grant me the courage to change the things I can, period. I can, dot, dot, dot. And you're going to personalize this to whatever your struggle might be or whatever it is you want to be insightful around, um, tailoring toward whatever feels resilient in your life to help you overcome challenges and to help you preserve inner strength. And then finally, the last statement stands alone, but we make it a full statement, bringing together the first 2. So God grant me the wisdom to know the difference between the things I can and cannot change, or between what I can and cannot change. So you notice the white sections are the parts that I've added. And again, the purpose of this is to personalize this to your life. So Natasha is going to demonstrate for us how she took this frame and applied it to an experience of being a mother. So Natasha, I'm going to turn it over to you. Will you read to us what you came up with? And folks, as you're listening, you'll notice on screen the parts Natasha is filling in. One thing that I do want to stress, that first line, God grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change. You just want one thing. Sometimes folks are tempted to list several things in there, several stressors, and then it gets convoluted and it gets really difficult to do the rest of the prayer in a way that is really helpful. So stick to one stressor at a time and then move on to section 2. If multiple stressors pop up, have a sheet of paper handy. We'll call that the parking lot. Write them on the parking lot, do another Serenity Prayer exercise on each of those as further practice. So Natasha, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, my love.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to start off with that first line. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change the fact that there's one adult in my household to take care of 2 kids and complete all chores. God, grant me the courage to change the things I can. I can come up with a schedule to become more organized and create a weekly routine to follow. I can set realistic goals for myself on what needs to be done on a weekly or monthly basis and set realistic deadlines following a SMART goal model. I can ask for help when feeling overwhelmed. I can also hire help when feeling overwhelmed if I don't have anyone in my immediate family or friends who can help. I can delegate age appropriate chores to the kids. I can set daily time aside to help myself unwind. And if something interferes with that time, I will set aside, if something interferes with the time I set aside, I will simply reschedule that time the same day. I won't cancel it in order to honor the same priority that I would give someone else that I care about. I can take care of my mental health with meditation, prayer, exercise, and making time for myself. I can take time off work to focus on my personal life. I can remind myself that it is okay to let go of control and ask for help when in need. I can remind myself that the kids are capable of helping out and doing chores helps to build independence and confidence. I can remind myself that it is my responsibility to take care of myself, both mentally and physically, in order to be the best mother and self that I can be. I can ask God to remind me that my strength comes from Him. I can remind myself that work life balance is important in order to minimize burnout and improve my relationships with my children, family, friends, and coworkers. And then I will close it off with God, grant me the wisdom to know the difference between the things I can and cannot change.
I love that. How does it feel to say all the I cans? What was it like to write this exercise out?
It's very empowering to
Mm.
know that those are the things that I have control of and that will help make a difference.
Exactly. And it's interesting because I was just doing this with one of my sweet older vets the other day, and he's in a lot of pain. He has a lot of mobility issues. So we were trying to think about ways he can work to feel less lonely because he feels very isolated to his home and realistically is in a lot of ways, can't drive. And as we're coming up with things, he's like, yeah, but I wouldn't do that. Well, but I won't do that. Okay, but you can. And it's sometimes the difference in recognizing you are choosing to not try that because of self-limiting beliefs, because you don't think it'll make a difference, because you tried it before and it didn't work 3 years ago. You are choosing based on the consequences that you're imagining, and you get to choose. You get to choose some of the options, but I want you to recognize that there are options, right? And so, yes, it's so empowering. And you can also change it to I will. And I think I will is even more empowering. But I think just reminding ourselves, I can, I can, I can. It's just the reminder that the world is not as small as we sometimes make it, especially in our times of stress. So that was beautiful. Thank you so much. And I hope that helps folks who feel, perhaps other folks that are struggling with just all the burdens, or I shouldn't say burdens, with all the responsibilities that parenting give me. In no way is parenting a burden, but the burdens of the busyness of life is really what I'm thinking about. So when we think about whatever that looks like, right? Maybe for some, it's not about having kids, but maybe it's fulfilling multiple responsibilities in our lives, multiple hats, multiple professional obligations. It's such a good reminder of all the different things. Okay, so then we're going to move into one other example. And this one specifically, I wanted to write in how we navigate coping in a very uncertain world. I know a lot of people are struggling. I know there's a lot of division, there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of instability. And I wanted to do one that really applies to when there feels like there's just really big things happening in the world that really, truly, in many ways, feel beyond the extent of anything that we can navigate ourselves personally. And yet, our response and our coping is within our control. So I'm going to go ahead and share what I've come up with, and then Natasha's going to add a few things at the end, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change the fact that the world feels very uncertain and unsafe at this time. God, grant me the courage to change the things I can. I can choose to focus on managing my reaction to people and circumstances around me. I can choose to respond to uncertainty with calm acceptance, reminding myself that I don't know is a perfectly acceptable and, in fact, calming response. I can, sorry, one moment. I can choose to take small positive steps each day, no matter how small, to regain a sense of control over my own thoughts and actions. I can choose to take breaks from watching or listening to the news and spending more time in nature or engaging in activities that nourish my soul. I can practice discernment and reminding myself what is within my control and what's not. I can pray for strength to let go of the things that are not within my control. I can trust that by focusing on the present moment, I will be able to navigate the unknown with more peace and clarity. I can choose to be kind to others even when their actions seem hurtful or disconnected from kindness, understanding that their words or behaviors may be rooted in their own pain, anger, or fear. And I can remind myself that underlying anger is often fear. I will offer them empathy instead of judgment, connection instead of correction. I can remind myself that people who think differently than me may have their own values and fears different from mine, but that hold value and importance in their own right. And I can choose to show curiosity rather than assumption and lead with love instead of hate. I can choose to nurture inclusion rather than division. And Natasha, here's a really good place for you to bring in a few extras that you had to share.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
I can offer a safe space for my family and friends to express themselves freely without imposing judgment, and I can uphold boundaries as needed. If I react to something in a way that I am not proud of, I can shift my inner dialogue by reminding myself I am growing every day.
Beautiful. And then one last one I was going to throw in is I can remind myself to be loving to the inner child in every person whose path I cross. You know, last year I got this tattoo. It's hard to see through the screen, but there's a little heart at the end of the tattoo. And for me, that heart is a symbolism of the inner child inside of every one of us. And that often, naturally, when we're in our reactive places, if our nervous system feels dysregulated and we say or do things we're not proud of, that often that is our inner child not knowing how to call out for simply love. It's a call for love. So God grant me the wisdom to know the difference between what I can and cannot change. So that is in essence the way that the prayer exercise, as I've kind of adapted it, can be applied to really help us to think through our most difficult moments, and to really just consider how we can control the controllables, even if all that is controlling my own ability to turn in, to give myself grace, to offer others grace, and to be in a place of peace. So the full Serenity Prayer exercise, the full Serenity Prayer is one that I wanted to share before we wrap up today. And I thank anybody who is still with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a support in our world. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But also, grant me the strength to take action where I need to, the grace to find peace in the waiting, and the ability to let go of control when I don't need to hold on anymore. Help me to see what I can shift within myself and to trust the journey unfolding with patience, knowing that both the small steps and the big leaps are part of the greater story. Natasha, thank you so much for being here, for doing this practice with us. I'm so grateful for you. And to anybody out there watching, I thank you for being with us today. And again, if you have any interest or recommendations for future videos you would like me to present on, if you want Natasha to do anything, please feel free to make special requests. Again, if you'd like to support me in being able to continue to create content and to show up in these formats, please, place an order, use my exclusive link. It'll be linked with the caption of the video and with your order. Send me an email and make your requests as far as what you would like to see me present on in the future. But beyond anything, just simply thank you for being a part of our world and for leading with light. All right, everyone. Have a fantastic day, Tasha. I love you, girlfriend. Thank you for being here. Bye.